As engineers, we're known for our problem-solving skills and attention to detail. But the high pressure and demanding nature of the profession can really take its toll. Burnout is a real concern for engineers because the combination of tight deadlines, high workloads, and really complex projects can lead to physical and emotional exhaustion. But burnout doesn't happen overnight. It's a result of prolonged stress that you haven't managed effectively. There is a difference between that high pressure just before that deadline is due and all that stress and true burnout. They're quite different things.
So, what does true burnout look like? According to the World Health Organization, burnout is a syndrome that is caused by overwork or stress that isn't successfully managed. And it has three main symptoms: physical and emotional exhaustion, cynicism and detachment from work, reduced professional effectiveness and efficiency. So if you're experiencing burnout, you might experience things like a struggle to sleep, lose interest in activities that you may once have enjoyed, but you may also feel detached from your work and lose some of the interest that you might have used to have for some of those outside extracurricular activities that you used to have instead of work. You might also lack motivation to complete your tasks.
What are some of the causes of burnout in an engineering career? The first one is high workload and tight deadlines. Engineers are often expected to work on multiple projects at the same time with lots of different deadlines that don't necessarily roll together nicely. And it might require occasionally some long hours, but it will always require quite a bit of focus. This can contribute to burnout if engineers are constantly doing this and not finding time to recharge and relax between big projects.
The second one is lack of control. You may feel like that you're at the mercy of your manager or your stakeholder or your clients that you're dealing with. This can lead to feelings of helplessness and frustration, which all stack up and can lead to burnout.
Another contributing factor to burnout for engineers is poor communication or lack of support. Engineers may feel like they're working in isolation without the support of their managers and colleagues because they're often on finite tasks that are really detailed and they just have to get their bit done. This can be especially true if they're working remotely or on different projects with different teams where they're not actually able to build up that relationship. They end up feeling like solo players, and this can contribute to burnout.
Next could be long hours and a lack of work-life balance. Engineers have to work long hours. Every now and then there'll be a project that demands it. Where this can come into trouble is if this continues on for a long period of time. That can cause an unhealthy lifestyle and a really poor work-life balance.
Also, unclear goals and expectations. Engineers may feel like they're not sure what's actually expected of them. And often they can feel like what they're expecting to do and wanting to do is not necessarily aligned with their managers or their clients or their wider team. And this ends up leading to confusion and a bit of disengagement because you don't feel any camaraderie. And this also contributes to burnout.
The last one is job insecurity. Now, this can come in many forms: downsizing of a company, changes the way that a company might be delivering its projects, changes in technology or market conditions. These things can also lead to a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress that can result in increased burnout.
So, can burnout be prevented? The answer is yes. It's really important to remember that burnout is preventable. If you can just be aware of a lot of the causes and then have some actions that might help you prevent them, burnout doesn't have to be part of your career and it won't have to derail you. You can take steps to prevent burnout and have a healthy work-life balance.
How can you prevent burnout? Well, here's a few strategies that we've got that can help. Prioritize your self-care. Make sure that you're taking care of your physical and your mental health. This means exercising regularly, sleeping well, eating well. It's really a case of putting your oxygen mask on before you start helping others. You'll never be thinking and producing effectively if you're unwell and you're unfit. Your brain relies on a healthy and fit body to function well.
Another way to prevent burnout is to set goals and expectations with the people that you work with. You need to communicate with your manager and your co-workers so you can make sure you're all aligned in what you're actually trying to achieve. If you can make those expectations and goals explicit and that's what you're trying to achieve, you're much less likely to struggle at saying no when too much comes along, because you've actually all set those expectations together. And on top of that, you won't feel as alone in having those goals and expectations.
Following on from that is to learn how to set boundaries. Learn to say no when you're going to be stretched too thin. But don't just say no to your manager. Sit down with them and try and work out what is the most important task. It might mean that you work through your list and say, okay, I will pick up this work, I will pick up this project, but we need to prioritize what I'm going to drop, because otherwise I'm going to be spread too thin and I'm not going to be able to function at my best.
Another strategy that's really important is to not try and do it on your own and seek support. So seek support from colleagues, family, and friends. Don't try and be the tough nut. Even though engineers love everything robotic, we're not robots. Don't treat your body or your mind like a robot or a software system, because it doesn't work like that. You need the social side of your life as well, so seek that support. And the final strategy is take a break. Every time you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to take a step back and figure out how you can take a little bit of a break to get yourself back into a calmer state. That might mean you need to take a 2-minute stretching and a little bit of a walk around the office break. I try and do that every half an hour. It might mean that you need to make sure that every lunchtime you go for a walk. You leave the building and you go for a walk just to clear your head. That's kind of a really good maintenance type strategy. Even if you're not feeling particularly stressed, if you just have the habit of doing that, it will help you on the days that you feel stressed, because you know that that's what you've got to go do. It might be that you need to start putting a habit in place that is you take a long weekend once a month. Once a month, you take a Friday off and you just have that one extra day of a weekend to get some space back in your head and to calm your body and calm your mind so that you're not in that constant state of overwhelm. Because if your body is in that constant state of overwhelm and it never gets a break, that's what leads to burnout.
So if you are experiencing burnout, it's important that you seek help and support. There are a variety of resources available to people these days, including EAPs, the employee assistance programs, counseling and therapy, support groups, and employee wellbeing programs. Don't let burnout take control of your career. Take the steps to avoid burnout and maintain that healthy work-life balance.
If you've got any tips or tricks of how you avoid burnout, put them in the comments. We'd love to hear.